Hi, my name is Miss Watkins. Welcome. Today I'm going to be making Kolacky Cookies so my students can follow along. I have all the ingredients before me, but before I start, I'm going to share my screen as I'm talking as well. And I'm just going to go through the ingredients, the list that I have posted on your virtual site, as well as the different steps, and then we'll come back and we'll make it together. So here I go. It's time to share my screen. So like I said, I'm going to be making Kolacky cookies, aka it's called thumbprint cookies. This recipe is taken from 1001 Cookies recipe book. It's a very big book, and I'll just show you what it looks like. It's a very big book of cookies. I got this book many years ago as a gift and have used it so many times before. But one of my favorite recipe in there is the Kolacky cookies. And so we are going to proceed with the ingredients. It's asking for flour, so I have my big pail of flour. It's asking for salt, so I have my thing here to use the salt. The vegetables shortening, it's asking for a cup, so I need to grab two of these. So I have one right here. And I'm just grabbing the second one here. So this is my second one. So I have two of these. That's a half cup plus a half cup. That is 1 cup. It's asking for cream cheese. So here's an 8-ounce cream cheese, and it's been sitting at room temperature. So that, I'll just show it in the video, so that it warms up nicely and I can do the mix. It's asking for some vanilla extract, so I have my bottle of vanilla extract here with a spoon. And then when we do the thumbprint, we need some jam, and I have some wonderful jam that my students have made me here. And I'm going to use some of these lovely jams to do the filling. It's also asking for a strainer and a icing sugar that's optional to spread on the top when it's finished. Now some really key ingredients, some tools that we're going to use, actually not ingredients but the tools. We need some large bowls, a nice large spoon, a small spoon, and this will be for like the salt. You can use a measuring spoon. I tend to like to use these spoons as well, but you can also use a measuring spoon to get your exact spatula. Cookie sheet. We need a drinking glass. Now, we need a very smooth surface to be on the bottom here. So that's what I'm looking for, is a very smooth surface. Some of the drinking glasses will have a dip. We need one that has a smooth surface on the bottom. This one has a smooth surface, but it also has a bit of a print on that surface. We need a flat surface to roll our dough. So I have my breadboard here. And I need a rolling pin. I have the oven. I have the cooling rack. The cookie sheet. This is the cooling rack, not the cookie sheet. The cookie sheet is right here. And if you're a child doing this, make sure you have an adult supervisor because we're dealing with some very hot oven, and you just want to have that adult supervisor to be your extra hands and to be safe. Now, it is fun doing it with your family as well. So if you have a bigger brother or sister that's in university, perhaps they can, or not university, but high school, and your family feels that they can supervise you, then by all means. Okay, just to make sure that my 10-year-old or 8-year-old students are not doing this by themselves. I want you to get help. All right, so we have a few things that we need to do to combine. I'm going to combine my flour in a larger bowl, and then I'm going to combine the my butter, margarine, and I'm going to combine the cream cheese in the smaller bowl. All right, so here I have now the measuring cup I'm going to use. It's only a half cup. The ones that are in the cup, I tend to misplace my stuff sometimes in my kitchen. It probably is in the sink or dishwasher. So I'm going to use the half cup. So 2 half cups will equal up to 1 cup. And I'm going to put the flour into the bigger bowl. So that's 1 cup, 2. It says 2 1/4, so you can use a quarter measuring cup. In my case, I'm using the half cup, but I'm only using half of the quarter. Okay, and then it's asking me to include, and I'll just bring this down. We're going to go to the next screen. Combine the flour and the salt. So it asked me for, and I'm just going to bring my recipe closer so I can pay closer attention to this. It's just asking for about a half. I actually use a little bit less in my recipe. I actually tend to use quarter salt rather than half, but that is just me. So it just says combine the flour and the salt. And so I'm going to combine and just mix it around. Okay, awesome. Now, instruction 3 was about preheating the oven to 350. I have done that already. And part of the reasons why I do that earlier is I just like it to be ready, because sometimes I forget. So here, what I'm going to do, instruction 2. In a large bowl, beat the vegetable shortener and cream cheese until smooth. Now, I am doing this process by hand because not everyone is going to have a mixer. I do have a mixer, but I'm just feeling the need to do something by hand to exercise my muscles, as my students would say. So if you have a mixer and that's what you want to use, great. If you don't, doing it this way will take a little bit of time, but the whole idea is you're mixing it together. And I'm just going to bring my screen closer. That's what it looks like. That's my margarine or butter. And it's the same as a vegetable shortener. Some people might use Crisco. Same concept. So I'm just going to mix it together until it's nice and smooth. Now, with it being at room temperature, it's easy to work with a spatula. Do not put it in the microwave. It will melt down to oil, and then your recipe is not going to be the same. Now, if for some reason you forgot to pull it out ahead of time, cutting it up in large little cubes will be easier for you to do the mixing. And just a heads up, a lot of this process will be done by hand as well. So this is just the first step. So step 2, you combine till smooth, and then we need to put some vanilla extract. Now it says to chill this for 2 hours. Actually, to be quite honest, I don't remember ever chilling it for 2 hours. I think I bypassed that step. Maybe if I made it in the summertime, the chill-in for 2 hours would work. It's not necessary. At least when I've made it in the wintertime. Just because it's so cold already, and I find that when I'm making it, I'm just able to just go right ahead and do all the steps immediately. So as I'm mixing this, it's smoothing out. It's nice and smooth. Let me show you. My hands are a bit messy right now. All right. I'm just going to wash my hands with a bit of soap. Using my ABCs. I want to sing my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? Now, because I'm going to need a little extra flour for when I'm flouring rolling it out on my board, I put a little bit in the cup. All right. Now it says slowly mix together, doesn't it? Gradually combine the dry ingredients well. Your teacher normally just put it together and mix. So I'm going to do this. I've given you the recipe, but I'm going to do this the way I normally do it. So I'm going to do a stopped screen share so you can see my screen a little bit bigger. Awesome. And then I'm just going to bring the camera down just slightly. So right now, you're not going to see much of my face. You're going to see a lot of this. And as you can tell right here, what you're seeing here, just a lot of flour and this big thing. Now, small people. This is the fun part that my grandma used to do when she did any kind of baking. The joy of thumbprint cookies is your hands. That's why I wash my hands. And it's going to take a little while. But that's the joy. Check it out. Let me hold it properly. See? So then I'm just going to keep doing that until all my flour is mixed in. So all I'm doing is squishing it together. It'll take a few moments, a couple minutes, but eventually all the flour will be mixed in. Now I'm going to use both of my hands because that's going to speed up the process a little. I forgot to put the Christmas carols on. So when you're mixing it, you can see a lot of this. This is okay. It's fun. And no worries, it will come together. What we need to do is get it together in one big ball. So just keep mixing. Right now, again, it just looks like that right now. So keep mixing. We need to mix all the flour in. It reminds me of pie dough. Something I still haven't mastered, but I've watched a friend of mine make it, and that's what it reminds me of. Oh, look at it. It's coming. And for those of you who are doing this and wondering, well, I'm not sure. Just take your time. You're doing a great job. I'm very proud of you. Now, one of the other reasons that I put in less salt is because my margarine is salted. And so I don't want to oversalt it. So I actually put in less salt. And also for my health, my personal health, I have to be careful with my salt content. So anytime something calls for a half a teaspoon, I tend to do a quarter. But some people like the full. salty flavor. If your family does, you are welcome to use the full salt. And I don't want to leave anything out. So where is my spatula? Spatulas are great for scraping things. This is like the best ever. If that was chocolate cake dough, I would have a hard time not tasting that. I love making chocolate zucchini cake. That's one of my favorite ones to make. Okay, so now it's time for me to put this aside, and I'm going to use this. So I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of flour on my board. Some of you have the granite type countertop. As long as your parents are okay with you using that and it is clean, really clean, you are welcome to use that. You don't have to have one of these boards, whichever surface works best for you. For me, this is what I use because my countertop is not the greatest for this. So what I'm doing right now is just kneading it. And so I pick it up, just kind of like bread dough. I tuck and fold and push down. Tuck, fold. So it's like pick it up, bring it towards myself, tuck it in, and press. Pick it up, bring it towards myself, fold it over, tuck it in, and press. Bring it towards myself. And what I'm trying to do is just knead it together. You notice how clean my hands are now? And no, I didn't wash it again. All I did was just kept mixing the dough together. Oh, look at this. This is pretty awesome. So, the great thing about this can be mixed up earlier in the day and then put it in the fridge to chill. But before you roll it out for the pan, you would have to let it sit for a while because once it's in the fridge, it'll get pretty stiff. It would be like shortbread cookie recipe or any kind of those recipes would be similar to that. Okay, so now this is what we have. I'm going to use my rolling pin and I'm going to roll. A rolling pin is great for rolling out pizza, cookie dough, anything like that. And we need it to be, remember, the only difference with this and like a cookie dough, we don't need it too flat. Because we want to have a depth to it. So you see? Okay, here's an example. So let's see, how thick is it? I have it about that thick right now. Now, the one thing about this, there's no baking powder, there's no rising agent in it, so no egg, no baking butter, no baking soda. And you might wonder, how do you get it to be round? Well, guess what? This glass has a two-part purpose. The front can go like that and cut it. The back part of it can help press it down. So let me show you an example. It's kind of like biscuits. That's what it reminds me of. You can use a cutter or you can use this. Check this out. Isn't that pretty cool? That is awesome. I'm actually pretty impressed. All right, so I'm going to get my cookie tray, and it says ungreased. And the reason it says ungreased is because there's lots of grease in our thing, and so it doesn't want you to do that anymore. It doesn't want you to add any more grease. All right, so here's my cookie tray. I'm going to take this bad boy, put it right here. All right, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to use this for. Remember, we're making thumbprint. So we use anything that has the back of this, we're going to use that to make a thumbprint in our cookie. So what will it look like? I do a spin. That's what it looks like. And that's the hole we will fill your beautiful jam into. So I'm going to put that there, and then I just swirl it around and pull it out. All right, here we go. Push down, swirl. Push down, swirl. Down, swirl. Down, swirl. Okay, very good. So we have, oh, look at that, the beauty of that. Okay, very good. This is pretty impressive. Now, there are a couple ways of doing this. Another way that I've done this is I've done roll in the ball. So that's one way of getting my circle, but if I don't want them that big, I could do the ball trick. Now the thing with the ball trick is this is where I use the parchment paper. So we roll, we take a piece off, then we do roll in the ball. So roll it, roll it, roll it. Most of the time this is the method that I use is rolling it into a ball. You tend to get more this way, but you have to make sure you don't flatten it too much. Also, if I was to make it ahead of time, when you make it ahead of time like this, you don't put the jam in the center. You can make this ahead of time, put it on a plate, cover it up with some saran wrap so it doesn't dry out, and put it in the fridge for later. That's something else I've done. So I'm showing you a couple ways of making this. So this is the most fun way I find. I used to make this a very long time ago. Now using this method, we can use the bottom of your glass. So as you can see, we have a lot more than we did using it, doing this the other way. All right. So this is where I can either use the parchment paper. What I'm going to do is rest the parchment paper, and I'm just going to press it down, not too far. Same concept. It shows more the imperfection, but it's beautiful. So this size would be very big. I could use it on this big one, so either one works really well. I've used saran wrap when I haven't had parchment paper. The whole idea of using something is if I did this without having something else, it tends to want to stick to the bottom of the glass. However, it creates a really unique pattern. Like, check this out. So it's pretty cool. It does create a unique pattern, but sometimes to get it off, it actually doesn't come off as easily. So that's a pattern from the bottom of the glass. Okay, so I think we did them all. So now we're going to put them on the cookie sheet. This is pretty impressive. Wow, this is pretty impressive. I'm pretty impressed. So I'm just arranging them so I can try and get all of them on the same cookie sheet. Sometimes it's possible, sometimes it's not. You want to make sure that you don't press them down too much because you need some height in them. So this is what it looks like. So now my next job is to take the back of this, or if you're comfortable, you could do a fingerprint like that. Okay, I'm going to use these guys because that's what I like to use. And I'm going to push it in, spin. I should not see this going all the way through to the bottom. Like I'm making a thumbprint, but I'm not trying to get rid of the bottom piece. Like I'm not trying to make a hole where it goes right through. I'm just trying to make a thumbprint. Now with the bigger ones, I can make a bigger thumbprint. The smaller ones, the thumbprint will be smaller. I want to try something with the back of the spoon actually. I saw this, how to do a heart, so I'm going to try it. I don't know how it will work. Okay, so now the next part of what I need to do, I'm going to open up some of this beautiful, beautiful jam I received from one of my lovely students. I'll try to get into it. There we go. This is rhubarb raspberry jam. Oh, divinely delicious. So now what I need to do, I might just take a couple. Okay, let me get a smaller spoon. I have these really weak tiny spoons. And I'm hoping they will work much better. So they're really, really tiny, as you can tell. This is some very good jam here. I can tell. So we're going to do some with this, and then it looks like we have some raspberry jam. I'm going to do now. Here's a trick: don't overfill it. I tend to do that a lot because I want to taste my jam in there, and then it runs over and burns in the oven. So you just need a little bit. Oh, this looks really good. Okay, so we're gonna do that one with the raspberry rhubarb, and then this one looks like, ooh, I think in its nose. How to steal things. Wow. That smells like raspberry as well. Yum, yum. Okay, so I have 2 more small spoons. So this. Yes, it does smell like raspberry. It's going to definitely be a very berry season. All right, here it goes. It's almost time. Oh, wonderful. And so this bakes for 8 to 10 minutes. I'm going to say, looking at them, probably closer to 10 minutes. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. This is beautiful. Beautiful. All right. I'm just going to pause for a moment. So now our cookies are in the oven. They are baking. I believe the timer has just a few more minutes. And in that time, I'm just going to set my other timer because that one keeps pausing. Let's see. Let's set it for about 8 minutes because it's already been in there for a couple minutes. I'm going to read to you a story called Deep Snow by Robert Munch. Way out in the middle of nowhere, Allie yelled, "Stop!" "What's the matter?" said her father. "I want to jump in the snow," said Allie. "No," said her sister Kate. "That is deep, deep, deep snow." "I still want to jump in it," said Allie. "That's not a good idea," said Kate. Allie stood up on the seat, gave her best yell, jumped out as far as she could, landed in the snow, and disappeared. All that was left was a hole in the snow. "She is totally gone," said Kate. "She's at the bottom of the drift." "Kate," said her father, "jump in that hole and help Allie get out." "This is also a bad idea," said Kate. But she jumped in the hole anyway. For a long time, nothing happened. Then their father climbed off the snowmobile, crawled over to the hole in the snow, and said, "Hey, Allie and Kate, how are you down there?" Allie and Kate said, "Whoa," because their mouth were full of snow. Their father said, "Allie and Kate, speak clearly. I can't hear you." Allie got the snow out of her mouth and yelled, "Get us out of here!" "Don't worry," said their father. He reached down the hole as far as he could, got a hold of something, and pulled very hard. Allie yelled, "Oh, that's my ear!" So he let go of Allie's ear, reached down the hole, and pulled on something else, and pulled very hard. Kate yelled, "Ah, that's my nose!" So he let go of Kate's nose, reached down the hole, and pulled as far as he down the hole, far as he could, got hold of something else, and pulled very hard. Allie yelled, "Ah, that's my lips!" finally their dad got hold of their ponytails and pulled as hard as he could, and Allie and Kate came flying out of the hole. Good, said their dad. Now we can go. No, we can't, said Allie and Kate. Our boots are still at the bottom of the hole. Oh, rats, said their father. He crawled down the hole and reached down as far as he could. He didn't find their boots, so he reached way, 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 way down, and he fell into the hole. Only his boots were sticking out of the snow. Allie crawled over to the boots and said, Hey, Dad, how are you doing down there? Their father yelled, because his mouth was full of snow. Speak clearly, said Kate. We can't understand you, said their father. And then he got the snow out of his mouth and yelled, Get me out of here! Allie and Kate took hold of their dad's feet and pulled as hard as they could. Nothing happened. This is very bad, said Allie. Daddy will have to stay there till springtime. How can he fly his jet if he's stuck in the bottom of the hole? Then Kate got an idea. She ran over to the snowmobile and got a rope. She tied one end of the rope around her father's foot and tied the other end to the snowmobile. Then Allie and Kate jumped on the snowmobile and went down the trail as fast as they could. Vroom! Their father came flying out of the hole and bounced down the trail after the snowmobile, yelling, Ow, ouch, ow, ouch, ow, ouch! Stop, 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 stop! So Kate stopped the snowmobile, and there was their father laying in the snow. Daddy, said Allie, you didn't get our boots after all? We're going to have to go down again? Right, said their father. Let's do it again. Really? He tied a rope to Allie and Kate's feet and dropped them down the hole. Okay, that was like a little weird. And he came by later in his jet to get them out. So here he has them tied. This is funny. The end. Oh, that is funny. Alright, it is almost time to check out our cookies. So, drum roll. I'm wondering how it's doing. I can smell. Yes, I'm delaying this process because I can smell it. Beautiful, beautiful. I hope you enjoyed baking with me. And here I go. Oh, wow. I still think they can use a few more minutes. So while that is finishing up, I'm just going to wash my hands again. And I'm going to make sure I have my oven mitts. oven mitts all ready. They're the Christmas one that I just found. There's the timer. And remember I said we can do some ice and sugar, so I have that here. Let me check on it again. I'm going to take my oven mitt. It's going to be delicious. I wish you can see it. I still think it needs a few more minutes. Probably another 3 minutes or so. So, I will go look at the bookshelf to see if I can find another story, perhaps. I'll be right back. And yes, I found another book. It is called So Much Snow. So I'm not sure how far we'll get with this story, but I'll read some of it to you until it is time for us to check the oven again. So Much Snow by Robert Munch and by Michael Marchenko. He's the author. Or Robert Munch is the author and Michael is the illustrator. Here's all the pictures. A blizzard, a blizzard, a blizzard, said Jasmine's mother. Maybe you should not go to school today. There is no snow now, said Jasmine. And besides, I like snow. I want to go to school. It's pizza day. Dress really warm, said her mother. So Jasmine dressed really warm. Right away, it started to snow very hard. Jasmine sang, neat, neat, snowy feet cannot be beat. Neat, neat, snowy feet cannot be beat. Winter time is fun, fun. So she's singing and hopping along. Jasmine walked down the road and towards the school. By the time she got to the corner, the snow was up to her knees. Jasmine sang, gee, gee, frozen knees, boots are filling up on me. Gee, gee, frozen knees, boots are filling up on me. Winter time is fun, fun, fun. Jasmine walked and walked and walked, and soon the snow was up to her bum. Jasmine sang, poor bum, frozen numb, snow so deep I can't run. Poor bum, frozen numb, snow so deep I can't run. Winter time is fun, fun, fun. Jasmine walked and walked and walked. She could see the school, but the snow was up to her nose. Jasmine sang, oh no, it's at my nose. What if the whole world's froze? Oh no, it's at my nose. What if the whole world's froze? Winter time is fun. Jasmine stopped walking, and the snow kept coming down, and soon only the top of her hat was above the snow. So Jasmine sang, oh, tread over my head, I wish I was home in bed. Oh, tread over my head, I wish I was home in bed. Winter time's no fun, fun, fun. She stood there singing for a long time. Finally, the school caretaker came stomping through the snow on a pair of snowshoes. He pulled up Jasmine by her hat and yelled, ah, frozen kid! Then he went stomping back through the blizzard, pulling Jasmine behind him. Where are we going? Said Jasmine. I'm taking you to the nurse's office, said the caretaker. We will get you warmed up, and if you're okay, I will take you to your classroom. So there she is, frozen as ever. So he took Jasmine inside to the nurse's office and dropped her onto the chair. The vice principal came in and said, "You're frozen stiff. Let's get you warmed up. Here are some nice blankets." She wrapped Jasmine in 10 layers of blankets, but Jasmine did not unfreeze. The school secretary came in and said, "You're frozen stiff. Let's get you warmed up. I will go get you a nice cup of hot chocolate." She poured the hot chocolate into Jasmine's mouth. "Yum," said Jasmine, but she did not unfreeze. I can smell her cookies. It's almost ready. Finally, the caretaker came back. He took one look at Jasmine and said, "You're still frozen? Let me see what I can do." He got a huge duster and tickled Jasmine under the chin. Jasmine started to laugh and cracked. The ice shattered into a million pieces. So the caretaker took her to her class. On the way there, they went past the principal's office. "Hey," said the principal, "what are you doing here? There's a blizzard outside, and it's not going to stop. So we are having a snow day. Everyone has to go home." "Wait a minute," said Jasmine. "It's pizza day." So they all went out for lunch, and Jasmine sang, "Snowing a little, snowing a lot. Winter's okay when you've got help to get you through bad spots. Winter time is fun, fun, fun." And there they are, having pizza. That looks yummy. All right, I can smell that our stuff is ready to check. So I'm gonna turn the screen back over here. I hope you can see that. All right, here we go. Final steps. Final steps. So what I'm going to do is just move some things out of the way, making sure that you can see. Awesome. I have my nice trusty mitts here, but again, I have to rinse my hands since I was reading the story. Awesome. This is going to be so wonderful. I can hardly wait. Oh, lovely. Look at this. Oh, my. That is beautiful. So okay, let me get my tool to use to be safe. Now, this is the reason we need adult or older siblings. Oh, look at that. That looks so heavenly. Oh, wow. It's tempting not to pick one up to eat it. It's pretty heavy. Oh, look at this. This looks so gorgeous. So now, the final step. It's an optional step, but I love doing this step. So what I'm going to do is use this, put some icing and sugar, and then look at that. Oh, I have to take a picture of this later. So as this cools down, the icing and sugar sort of melts right in, and it gives out that extra flavor. So right now it looks like a lot, but when it cools, there's not much else there. And that's how we make thumbprint cookies. And of course, with 2 stories to go. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoy the baking of Kolacky Cookies, which is also known as thumbprint. Such a sight to see. I am going to bring this closer just for our last